deep in the heart of the Amazon, the world changes. It isn't the lush, vibrant paradise depicted in travel brochures or documentaries. Instead, it is a place of heavy, suffocating stillness. Imagine standing in a cathedral made of emerald and shadow, where the air is so thick with moisture that every breath feels like a deliberate choice. But the most unsettling thing isn't the heat or the insects. It is the silence. In a forest that should be screaming with life, the roar of monkeys, the screech of macaws, the constant thrum of cicadas, there are places where everything simply stops. Locals call these the pockets of the green abyss, spots where the jungle holds its breath. You feel it before you see it. A sudden drop in pressure, a prickle on your neck that tells you that you are no longer the observer. 1,000 eyes are tucked behind ancient ferns, watching with a cold, primordial intelligence that predates human history. The Amazon is an impossible scale of existence. Spanning 2 million square miles, it represents more than half of the planet's remaining rainforests. It is so vast that it dictates its own weather patterns, creating flying rivers of vapor in the sky that rival the massive torrents of water flowing on the ground. Yet, despite our satellites and drones, the Amazon remains one of the greatest blind spots on Earth. Huge swathes of the interior are designated as green voids, regions where no modern human has ever set foot, where the canopy is so dense that even advanced LiDAR technology struggles to pierce through to the forest floor. We think we have conquered the world with our glowing screens, but the Amazon remains a defiant fortress. Here, the laws of physics and biology seem to bend. We are talking about millions upon millions of acres of tangled undergrowth and towering mahogany that haven't seen a human footprint in centuries, perhaps ever. Explorers and researchers have long whispered about the zone of silence. These are localized anomalies where radio signals flatline and compasses spin in frantic, useless circles. In these zones, the natural world behaves erratically. Animals that should be predators become skittish, and those that should be prey vanish entirely. It's as if the forest itself is dampening the frequency of the modern world, protecting something hidden deep within its core. The humidity here is different too. It clings to your skin like a physical weight, smelling of ancient rot and something electric. Recently, a high-resolution orbital sweep conducted by a private research firm picked up something that simply shouldn't exist. Deep within a sector of the northern Amazon, in an area deemed inaccessible by any known land route, the satellite detected a massive, perfectly geometric thermal signature. It wasn't a ruin, and it wasn't a natural formation. It was a heat source pulsating rhythmically, like a slow, Titan-sized heartbeat emanating from beneath the roots of trees that have stood for 1,000 years. It was as if the Earth itself was breathing through the soil. When the data was first reviewed, scientists dismissed it as a glitch, a ghost in the machinery. But the readings persisted. Whatever is down there, it isn't waiting to be found. It is simply existing in a realm that humanity was never meant to enter. This discovery sent shockwaves through the small circles of researchers, but it was only the beginning. As the researchers looked closer at the high-definition imagery, they realized the vegetation surrounding the anomaly was fundamentally different. The trees weren't growing toward the sun, they were leaning away from the center of the heat, as if repelled by an invisible force. The air in these forbidden regions carries a distinct, unsettling scent. Not just the rot of decaying leaves and wet earth, but something sharp, ozone-heavy, and distinctly metallic. It's the smell of a storm that never breaks, or perhaps a machine that has been running since the dawn of time. But even that wasn't the most disturbing part. That realization came later, when the first ground teams attempted to get close and found that the forest didn't just hide its secrets, it defended them. Before we continue into the heart of this mystery, subscribe to the channel and tell us in the comments where you are watching from. The deeper we go into this green labyrinth, the more we realize that we are not the masters of this domain. We are merely uninvited guests in a world that has its own guardians, rules, and terrifying way of ensuring that some things stay buried forever. We are standing on the edge of an abyss, and something dark and ancient is reaching back out of the deep shadows. The transition from satellite imagery to history reveals our modern terror is merely an echo of a much older fear. Long before thermal sensors detected that rhythmic pulse, early explorers of the 1800s were returning from the interior with stories dismissed as fever dreams. These men wrote in leather-bound journals about human-like shadows flitting through branches at impossible speeds. They described figures moving with fluid, terrifying grace, entities shaped like men but lacking heavy footfalls. These journals, now yellowed, speak of eyes glowing with bioluminescent hues in the night, watching campfires from the impenetrable blackness. Explorers were adamant they were stalked by something mimicking their own silhouette to stay hidden. The forest reflected their presence, a distorted mirror of humanity. Among these figures, none looms larger than Colonel Percy Fawcett. He wasn't just a map maker. He was possessed by the conviction that an ancient civilization, the city of Z, lay hidden beneath the canopy. Fawcett's journals are a descent into wonder. Before vanishing, he described encounters defying science. He spoke of animals extinct for millions of years, and towering structures that seemed to pulse with the same rhythm we now see on satellites. He became convinced the Amazon was a managed landscape that had swallowed its masters. His disappearance wasn't an accident. It felt like an eviction. The forest didn't just take him, it reclaimed him, absorbing his expedition into its endless green architecture. Indigenous tribes have always known what Fawcett suspected. They speak of the guardians, ancient entities serving as the forest's immune system. These are forces to avoid. According to elders, some jungle regions are not just plants, but pillars of living architecture designed to keep outsiders away from the world's heart. Tribes pass down warnings. Do not follow the whistling in the trees. Do not look into shadows moving against the wind. And never enter the green voids where birds do not sing. In their world, the Amazon is a conscious entity, and we are an infection it tries to purge. They describe the forest as a vault never meant to be opened, and the creatures within as its eternal sentries. Today, our advanced maps still bear the marks of this resistance. On NASA digital displays, regions are marked as no data, or simply left as featureless green expanses. These are green voids, where aerial mapping is met with atmospheric interference or equipment failure. We have mapped Mars with more precision than the ground beneath the Amazonian canopy. It is a humbling reality that in an age of surveillance, a person, or an entire city, can exist undetected. The forest uses its own density as a cloaking device, bending light and sound to create a labyrinth that even sophisticated sensors cannot solve. We are blind to the secrets of our own world. Recent archaeological breakthroughs support the theory that the Amazon is a managed landscape. We are finding terra preta, man-made soil, in regions where it shouldn't exist, suggesting millions once lived in a sophisticated, urbanized network across the basin. This wasn't a wild jungle, it was a sprawling garden. But this raises a chilling question. If this land was a managed civilization, what happened to its people? And what did they leave behind to ensure their sanctuary remained undisturbed? Some researchers believe the guardians described by tribes and shadows seen by Fawcett are remnants of this lost era, biological or mechanical sentries left to patrol the Green Cathedral. Yet history forgot one specific detail hidden in a map found in Lisbon, predating the region's official discovery. This map shows interlocking circles centered exactly where that modern thermal anomaly was detected. Beside them is a single phrase in a dead dialect, a warning that changes everything. As we pull back layers of dust from forgotten journals, the realization grows that the past is waiting for us in the shadows. We are not discovering the Amazon. We are being lured back into a trap set centuries ago. The ink is faded, but the message is clear. This detail suggests the forest is protecting something still alive deep within the soil, something the ancients feared. The mystery remains why the forest hides their graves and the truths they died for. The ancient warnings etched into those forgotten Portuguese maps weren't merely symbols of geographical boundaries. They were frantic alerts regarding the biology that stalks the deepest layers of the green abyss. To the modern world, the jaguar remains the ultimate symbol of Amazonian power, a golden ghost that moves with silent lethality. However, as the light of the sun fails to penetrate the triple canopy layers of the interior, the rules of the natural order begin to warp into something unrecognizable. In the regions where satellite sensors glitch and thermal signatures pulse like a heartbeat from the soil, local legends take on a terrifying physical form. They speak of the Mapinguari with a reverence born of survival. For generations, academic scholars relegated this creature to the realm of folklore. Yet the biological evidence emerging from the most remote sectors is impossible to ignore. Researchers have documented footprints that shouldn't exist in the modern epoch. These tracks are colossal, indicating a creature of immense weight and bipedal movement, resembling the long-extinct Megatherium. But this is no fossil. It is a predator that has adapted to the dense humidity of a changing world. Witnesses describe a matted reddish fur that is nearly impenetrable to traditional weapons and a single, haunting cry that sounds like a human screaming through a wall of water. More unsettling is the biological chemical warfare it employs. The Mapinguari is said to emit a stench so profoundly toxic that it can cause instant disorientation, nausea, and even temporary paralysis in its prey. It doesn't need to chase you. It simply needs to be near you until your body betrays your will to run. Yet, the physical threat of a prehistoric giant is arguably less haunting than the psychological warfare conducted by the forest's more subtle inhabitants. There are entities within the green voids that have mastered the art of mimicry to a degree that defies evolutionary logic. This is something far more predatory. Imagine the oppressive silence of a localized zone of silence suddenly broken by the sound of a crying child. Or worse, the exact cadence and tone of a fellow expedition member calling your name from just beyond a wall of ferns. You feel the instinctive pull to help, to move toward the familiar, but every step takes you further from the path and deeper into a trap. These predators don't just hunt with claws. They hunt with your own human empathy. They mirror the sounds of our species to lure the vulnerable into the darkness where the vines are thickest. It suggests a chilling level of observational intelligence, as if the forest itself has been listening to us for centuries, learning our weaknesses and recording our voices to use as lures. Beyond the audible deception lies the invisible danger. The predators that have achieved a level of camouflage that borders on the supernatural. Veteran explorers and some of the lead researchers' team have reported sightings of what they call shimmering air. It is a visual anomaly where the environment appears to ripple and distort, much like heat haze on a desert road, despite the damp, cooling shadows of the jungle floor. This is a predator with skin or fur capable of bending light, creating a localized cloaking field that makes its form nearly impossible for the human eye to resolve. You might be staring directly at a shadow walker and see nothing but the flickering light of the canopy above. The only clue to their presence is a slight, unnatural shimmering in the periphery of your vision, or the sudden, absolute silence of the surrounding wildlife. When the birds stop singing and the insects go quiet, it isn't because the forest is empty. It is because a master of the shadow realm has arrived. The psychological toll of this constant unseen surveillance is devastating. In the green abyss, the human heart rate rarely settles. The fear changes your blood. You realize your technology is useless here. Electronics fail. GPS dies. We are not the masters of this earth. The forest sees no curiosity. It only sees caloric value. We are lured by maps and legends. We are lured by the city of Z. But the deeper we go, the more the doors close behind us. We think we are at the top of the food chain. Deep here, we are just bait, waiting in deep silence. The low-frequency hums emanating from beneath the forest floor represent perhaps the most unsettling of all the acoustic anomalies encountered within the green abyss. This is not the rhythmic chirping of insects or the distant roar of a howler monkey, but a subsonic pulse that vibrates through the soles of your boots and settles deep within your chest. When the lead researcher first deployed seismic sensors in the most remote sectors of the basin, the data returned was nonsensical. Instead of the chaotic noise of tectonic movement, the instruments recorded a steady, artificial resonance that seemed to respond to our presence. This frequency suggests a hidden infrastructure buried beneath the roots. In these localized zones of silence, where the hum is loudest, the very air feels pressurized by an invisible weight, making every step feel like an intrusion into a forbidden machine. To understand how such strange phenomena can exist, we must ground ourselves in known wonders like the legendary boiling river of Shanai Timpishka. For years, scientists dismissed a river reaching nearly 100 degrees Celsius so far from any active volcano as myth. Yet it exists, a 4-mile stretch of water so hot it kills anything that falls into it instantly. It serves as a stark reminder that the earth beneath the jungle is far more active and mysterious than our maps suggest. The lead researcher noted that the hum often intensifies near such geothermal anomalies. If the forest can hide a river of boiling water, what other artificial structures lie hidden beneath the thick layers of terra preta? The hum suggests the boiling river might be a venting system for something massive operating deep within the soil. Looking upward offers no respite from the sense of being watched by something non-human. For generations, remote tribes have reported unidentified aerial phenomena that they call the lights of the guardians. These are not the fleeting streaks of meteors or the steady blink of satellites, but intelligent, glowing orbs of amber and violet drifting through the canopy with impossible fluidity. They move in patterns suggesting a systematic survey of the terrain, often hovering over the green voids where modern maps show nothing but empty space. Indigenous elders warn that these ghostly lights are sentries that have patrolled the skies since the time of the ancients. These accounts align perfectly with modern reports from military pilots and researchers who have witnessed shimmering spheres descending into the trees, disappearing without a sound into the emerald depths, where no human has stepped. Capturing these phenomena on film, however, proves nearly impossible due to the systemic electronic failure that plagues these specific regions. This is the hallmark of the zone of silence. When a camera is pointed toward a thermal anomaly or a suspected site of the Guardians, the equipment begins to glitch in ways that defy standard technical explanation. Screens pixelate into static, battery levels that showed full charge seconds ago drop to zero, and digital files become hopelessly corrupted. The lead researcher recounted an incident where an entire array of high-definition trail cameras was rendered useless. The lenses scorched from the inside as if hit by a concentrated electromagnetic pulse. It is as if the forest itself possesses a technological defense mechanism designed to prevent any visual evidence from leaving its borders. The green abyss does not want to be recorded, and it uses the very magnetism of the region to scramble our most advanced sensors. If these hidden mysteries and the ancient secrets of our world fascinate you as much as they do me, make sure to subscribe now and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the conclusion of this journey into the unknown. But the technological interference and the ghostly lights are merely symptoms of a much deeper, more disturbing reality. The real question we must ask is not just what these things are, but why they are here and what they are protecting. The transition from being a casual observer to realizing you are an intruder is a violent psychological shift. You begin to notice that the anomalies are not random. They are coordinated and reactive. Every electronic glitch and every low-frequency pulse seems timed to turn you back, pushing you away from the center of the forest. It is a biological wall, a living perimeter that senses movement and responds with escalating warnings. The sensory experience of the deep jungle becomes a suffocating embrace. You are walking through a cathedral of ancient wood, the smell of damp decay and ozone filling your lungs, when you realize the hum has stopped. The silence that follows is not peaceful. It is a vacuum. Then, the sound of a heavy branch snapping echoes through the humid air. A sharp, violent crack that signals something massive is no longer content to simply watch from the shadows. The transition is complete. You are no longer the explorer. You are the target. Something is moving through the canopy above, and it is descending. The sound of that snapping branch isn't just a physical warning. It's a biological declaration. We often forget that while we map the distant stars, the ground beneath our feet in the Amazon remains a biological frontier that defies evolutionary law. Scientists estimate that a new species is discovered here every 2 days. It is staggering, but most of these are small: a new beetle, an orchid, or a subtle variation of a tree frog. However, tucked within the deepest green voids, researchers have encountered biological impossibilities that suggest the forest is experimenting with life in ways that should be genetically impossible. These are not merely variations of the familiar. They are deviations from the foundation of terrestrial biology. Take, for example, the terrifying exception of bioluminescence found deep within the interior, miles away from any ocean. In the absolute darkness of the lower canopy, where the sun never reaches the damp floor, the lead researcher documented a species of flora that emits a pulsing, cold light. This isn't the faint, yellowish glow of a firefly or the dim chemical reaction of a bioluminescent mushroom. It is a synchronized, rhythmic illumination that mimics the patterns of human neural activity. Why would a plant develop a lighting system that mirrors a brain's electrical signals? It lacks survival purpose. Instead, it suggests a mimicry of something far more complex. A biological signal intended for an audience that isn't human, operating on a frequency of life we are only beginning to perceive. This leads us to the even more disturbing reality of fungal intelligence. Most are familiar with the Ophiocordyceps, the zombie ant fungus that hijacks the brains of insects, forcing them to climb to heights where their spores can best be distributed. But in the most remote, unexplored pockets of the Amazon, this fungus seems to have evolved far beyond simple parasitism. There is a growing theory among those who have spent decades in the green abyss that the entire forest floor is connected by a massive, sentient fungal network that behaves like a single, unified organism. This isn't just a passive system for nutrient exchange. It is a collective consciousness that monitors every vibration. When the lead researcher walked through these silent sectors, they noted that the forest reacted to their presence with a coordination that was too precise to be coincidental. It was as if the ground itself was a giant, subterranean brain, and we were merely microbes moving across its sensitive skin. The true horror of this biological defiance was revealed when the lead researcher took a water sample from a secluded, blackwater tributary that doesn't appear on any official survey. The water was unnaturally still, reflecting the dense canopy like a dark mirror. Upon returning to a mobile laboratory, the team conducted a genomic sequence of the organic material found within the thick silt. What they found in that water shocked the team and halted the expedition instantly. The sample contained unidentifiable DNA that possessed a triple helix structure, something alien to Earth. But it wasn't just the structure that was terrifying. The sequence contained fragments of genetic code that matched historical human lineages from the region, interwoven with synthetic programmed elements. This discovery suggests that the evolution occurring within the Amazon isn't accidental or driven by the slow crawl of natural selection. It is a forbidden evolution, a directed biological engineering that has been taking place for millennia in total isolation. The unidentifiable DNA wasn't just a new species, it was a blueprint for something that bridges the gap between the organic and the calculated. The lead researcher realized that the forest isn't just growing, it is building. It is a vault of biological impossibilities, where the zombie ant fungus is perhaps just a primitive prototype for a much larger, more sophisticated method of control. Every pulsating plant and every insect, with eyes that seem too intelligent for their size, is a silent witness to this hidden process. The visual landscape of these deep zones is filled with macro wonders. Insects with shells that refract light like advanced fiber optics, and translucent plants that breathe with a slow, mechanical rhythm. We are witnessing a world where the laws of Darwin have been replaced by the ancient laws of an architect. The Amazon is not a wild landscape. It is a managed laboratory, and we are the unintended specimens who have wandered into the middle of an experiment that has been running for millennia. The biological wall we feel is not just made of wood and vine, but of a genetic intelligence that knows exactly what we are and exactly how to dismantle our understanding of reality. While the ground of the green abyss holds the secrets of DNA and fungal networks, the true scale of the Amazon's mystery is vertical. We often perceive the rainforest as a flat expanse of green on a map. But for the modern researcher, the reality is a towering, three-dimensional fortress. Over 80% of the forest's life resides in the canopy, a layer that begins 100 feet above the soil. This is the unseen layer, an aerial continent that remains largely unexplored because of the physical impossibility of navigating its heights. This vertical mystery mocks our technological arrogance, reminding us that we are ground-bound creatures trying to decipher a sky-bound civilization. Within this elevated realm, reports of the Shadow Walkers begin to take on a terrifying weight. These are not the stuff of simple folklore. They are consistent observations made by those few who have ventured into the green voids. Descriptions from rare survivor accounts portray these entities as large, bipedal creatures that navigate the thin, swaying branches of the emergent layer with a grace that defies gravity. Unlike the crashing movement of a jaguar, the Shadow Walkers move with a chilling, predatory silence. They do not shake the leaves. They do not snap the brittle twigs. They seem to possess a biology that allows them to distribute their weight across the foliage like a mist, moving through the canopy without leaving a single ripple in the sea of green. The modern researcher noted that tracking these beings is impossible because they never touch the earth, leaving no footprints for the Mapinguari to follow. This vertical isolation is the foundation of the indigenous myths regarding the Sky People. These are not merely spirits. They are described as a distinct branch of existence that chose the heights over the depths. The legends warn that the Sky People are the true sovereigns of the Amazon, observing the human world from their sun-drenched balconies of vine and wood. They are said to possess skin that mimics shifting light and eyes that see through the thickest mountain mists. To the tribes, the forest floor is a place of transit and danger, a realm where the guardians keep watch, but the canopy is a forbidden sanctuary. There is a belief that Percy Fawcett, in his search for the city of Z, may have realized that the city he sought was not on the ground at all, but was a complex architecture woven into the tops of the trees. His 1925 disappearance remains a testament to the fact that once you look up and see what is watching, the forest may never let you look away. The feeling of being tracked from above is a psychological weight that no training can prepare you for. As the modern researcher pushed deeper into the green abyss, the sensation of vertical surveillance became an agonizing constant. It is a primitive fear, the realization that you are viewed as prey by something that has the high ground. The humidity at the base is a stagnant blanket, but above, you see the treetops swaying in winds you cannot feel. You are trapped in a vacuum while a hunt is being coordinated in the rafters. Electronic sensors and cameras experience total failure when pointed toward the high canopy. It's as if the sky people project a dampening field, a vertical zone of silence that protects their domain from the prying eyes of human satellites and drones. And this is only the beginning of what lies at the top, a realm where the rules of biology seem rewritten for the air. The modern researcher described the sound of the jungle changing. The roar of the ground insects was replaced by a rhythmic pulse, the sound of a system breathing in unison. The tension became physical, a static charge making the hair on their arms stand up. Every snap of a twig below was met with a localized silence above, a coordinated pause in the hidden life of the rafters. Then, the silence was broken by something that chilled the team. It was the sound of something heavy landing softly on a broad, waxy leaf directly above them. The leaf didn't break. The weight was unmistakable. The hunt had moved to the sky. The heavy weight on the leaf above remained motionless, a silent pressure that seemed to bend the very air around the modern researcher. In that agonizing stillness, a realization dawned. The Amazon is not a place being discovered, but one tentatively allowing itself to be seen, piece by terrifying piece. This brings us to a fundamental question. Why are we so relentlessly drawn to places that want to kill us? Human obsession is a strange, self-destructive force. From the tragic obsession of Percy Fawcett in 1925 to the modern teams risking their lives in the green abyss, there is a magnetic pull to the unknown that overrides logic. We are like moths drawn to a green flame, seeking a truth buried beneath sediment and vine for millions of years, oblivious that the flame might consume us before we understand its heat. The Amazon rainforest is not merely a collection of trees. It is a vault of secrets humanity is not prepared to handle. Within its layers of shifting shadow, the laws of biology seem to warp and reshape themselves. The triple helix DNA found in water samples and the impossible mimicry of the mapinguari suggest that life here has taken a path entirely divergent from the rest of the planet. It is a biological fortress protecting an intelligence that predates our earliest civilizations. The legendary city of Z that Fawcett sought was never just a city of gold. It was a testament to a different existence, one that realized the ground was too vulnerable for a lasting legacy and that the high canopy was where the true architects belonged, high above the reach of common men. As we strip away the edges of this sanctuary, we do more than destroy a habitat. We are breaching the hull of a biological vessel sealed for eons. The warnings regarding the Guardians are not metaphors, but literal instructions for survival. By pushing into the zone of silence and the green voids, we are waking up entities meant to stay hidden in the darkness of the forest floor. There is a terrifying possibility that the presence we feel tracking us is a dormant immune system reacting to our intrusion. To the Amazon, we are a virus, and the forest is now responding with calculated, predatory efficiency that we cannot hope to outrun. Perhaps the greatest mystery is not what is hiding, but why it has hidden so effectively for so long. In a world of satellite surveillance, the fact that the sky people and shimmering predators remain undetected suggests a sophistication that dwarfs our own. They are not primitive. They are perfected organisms that have transcended our kind of progress. They have watched empires crumble from the emergent layer, remaining undisturbed in their emerald vault. They hide not because they are afraid, but because we were never a variable they needed to account for in their grand design. Now, our presence is an irritant to a system that has functioned in perfect harmony for millions of years. The modern researcher's journey ends with more questions than answers, a reminder that the more we learn, the less we understand. We look at the boiling river or ancient ruins and think we see the end of the mystery when we are barely scratching the surface of the bark. The secrets of the Amazon are protected by 1,000 eyes and a biological intelligence that can rewrite the code of life itself. It is a place that demands respect through its capacity for absolute defense, reminding us that we are guests in a home that does not want us. Do some things deserve to stay undiscovered? Is our thirst for knowledge worth the price of what we might unleash from the deep woods? The silence of the jungle is the presence of something waiting for us to leave. Leave a comment. Should we leave the Amazon's secrets alone, or is the truth worth any risk? This exploration of the green abyss is just the surface. The deep secrets are waiting in the shadows of the canopy, far beyond our reach. Our world is far stranger than we have been led to believe, and the next discovery is always just one step deeper into the dark. Watch the next video to continue the journey into the unknown.